Hey, what's up everybody? Irish Pepper 2A here, and I'm doing a video today on a 19th century cooking technique from the Civil War and probably even older than that. What we're going to do today is we're going to make what they called ramrod bread. So essentially what that is making a dough and then wrapping it around. At that time they were using black powder guns, and they had a ramrod, and they were wrapping the dough around the ramrod, and then they would toast it over the fire. So what we've been doing, Remy and I here, first thing we did when we got out here was we built a fire. Not going to get a nice bed of coals going. Then we set up a little lean-to shelter. In the meantime, let that cook down. I had to stoke it up a little bit. It was starting to die down. So what I brought out was actually a pre-mixed bag of flour. And what is in this flour, let me walk up to the camera. It's just going to be 1 cup of flour, a pinch of salt, and half a teaspoon of sugar. Now, back in the 19th century, during the American Civil War, what they were using, and especially in the South, they were using cornmeal. And that resulted in a very grainy, crunchy, crumbly, just sandy mess. You know, it wasn't very good, but I guess if you're starving, it'll do in a pinch. So we're not going for authenticity here. We're just going for the technique of making this happen. So we're going to take this flour mixture. We're going to pour in some warm water. I'm going to get some water warming up over the fire here. Doesn't have to be boiling hot, but I don't want it to be cold either. And then we're just going to knead it and mix it in this bag until I get a dough. And from there, we'll start cooking it over the fire. Stay tuned. Let's see what happens. All right, guys, so we got the water up to temp. That'll do good. In the meantime, I just went ahead and processed our makeshift ramrod, just a stick. And this is an important thing I want to mention. You don't want to use pine for a stick to bake the bread on. You don't want to bake your bread on a resinous stick. So something like, oak, poplar, any other hardwood, cherry, anything like that. That's what you want to use. So yeah, I got a decent stick here. I'm going to take that water, pour it in on the flour mixture, which Remy is guarding. Good boy. Make sure nobody gets that. And let's get after it. All right, so we're ready. I'm going to pour the water in just a little bit at a time, because I do not want this to get too mushy, or else I'm not going to be able to do anything with it. So I'll pour in that much right now. Just start to work that. In the bag. Now, the original recipe for this, they called it sloosh. And as I said, they used cornmeal with bacon grease and a little bit of water and whatever else they might have had on hand. But, one of the primary components was that fatty, lard substance, that they got from the bacon. And then once they fried the bacon up and they mixed that fat in, they would also chunk up the bacon and put it in with the dough to make essentially, almost like an Indian fry bread. I've seen recipes for that, called for meat in the dough as well. But when they cooked that, they normally did it in a skillet. They didn't do it on the ramrod. So That looks pretty, not bad. It is a little bit gooier than I wanted, but there's still some dry stuff in here. A lot of waste doing it like this, but such is the case. It happens. But I just want to get a nice, fairly stiff dough ball here. There it is. It's coming together now. See that? I mean, I got a lot on my hands, but that's starting to come together nice. One of the best documented sources for doing this was during the Battle of Antietam in 1862, when General John Bell Hood's Texas Brigade talked about them making ramrod bread on the morning of September 17th, I believe it was. If I'm wrong, please correct me. But that is one of the sources that people go to whenever they do this. So yeah, we got this going good. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll this out into almost like a pencil, a little bit bigger than a pencil. I don't want anything bigger than my thumb, or else it's just not going to cook right. This stuff has to be thin when you do this. All right, so we're getting that worked out. Let's get this wrapped around the makeshift wooden ramrod, and we'll start toasting it. All right, guys, so we got the bread wrapped around the stick, and that's starting to toast over the fire. Periodically, I'm having to kill these flames. I don't want too much flame. That should, there it is. See? I am just lightly cooking this. And in the meantime, I also threw on some soup. Again, yeah, guys, you know, while this is a technique from the Civil War, we're not going for authenticity here. We're just learning the technique. So I'm going to continue to rotate this and slowly cook that dough. And by that time, that soup would be right about ready to eat. So let's check back in a few more minutes. All right, guys, so I will say this is cooking up pretty decently. It is certainly not your wife, your mom, your grandma's homemade bread, but it will do. I did get it a little bit well done on the side there. Got some burnt ends on there, but that's toasted. I think we just have a little bit more to go. The soup is doing good. I'm going to let this cook for another few minutes. All right. So we got this divvied up. Got to give Remy his fair share. Come on, buddy. You've been waiting for this. Guys, despite the steam coming off this, that is not hot. It's lukewarm. I wouldn't hurt him. There you go, buddy. You want some? Let's check this bread out. It's not too bad. Actually, could have been a little bit more cooked, but not bad. There you go, bud. Get you some. Actually being undercooked Just slightly. Believe me, this is not raw. I would not be eating it. That's not good for you at all. Not bad at all. Good, buddy. Get yours. So, guys, that's the video for today. You know, we didn't destroy anything this time, like the last video. It's nice to have a success every once in a while. It boosts morale. But, yeah, the ramrod bread turned out pretty darn good, I will say. I did cut the soup down with some water. So it wouldn't be so salty. But, yeah, check it out. As I said, a little bit underdone, but not bad. And when you curl it up like that, it makes those nice little scoops. Being that I don't have any utensils, and get some of the noodles out. Not too bad, guys. It is, you know, as I said, not the greatest thing in the world, but it is nice to have the know-how to be able to do something like that. So, with all that being said, I think Remy already finished his lunch. I'm going to finish mine. We'll break down the shelter, and I think we'll head on home. You guys take care, stay safe, and I hope you all have a blessed day. Irish Pepper 2A and Remy signing off.